Richard opens a glove box, James pulls a face, and I ask an important question.
Have you ever put toothpaste on your testicles?
Thank you very much, everybody. That was a big crowd tonight. Thanks very much. Thank you. Now, last year, the big three German car makers, Mercedes, Volkswagen and BMW, all brought out new hot hatchbacks. And since this is a top consumer programme full of helpful buying advice, I thought it would be a good idea to see which one of them is best. Well, not the Mercedes, that's for sure. This is the new four-wheel drive A45 and it's extremely powerful, extremely nice to drive and handsome as well. But it is ridiculously expensive. This car, with a few options on it, is £46,000, and that, for a hatchback, it's idiotic. It's like charging 100 quid for a sardine. Oh, it's a very good sardine, sir. I don't care how good it is, I'm not paying 100 quid for a fish. If then you have even half a droplet of common sense, you'll be choosing between these two. The BMW M135 and Volkswagen's latest Golf GTI. Both cost around £30,000. Both are available with 3 or 5 doors. Both come as standard with many things. And both will be as reliable and as long-lasting as Edinburgh Castle. You might think then that they're pretty similar, but they're not. Which is why I am in the BMW. You see, the Golf has a 2-litre, 4-cylinder, turbocharged engine, and that's very nice. But the BMW has a 3-litre, 6-cylinder turbocharged engine. And that's even nicer. Yes, the Golf is lighter. But that is not enough to offset a 90 horsepower disadvantage. A point I shall now demonstrate with a small race. Front-wheel drive Golf is clinging on jolly well, but frankly it's pointless. I can overtake any time I like. I have the power. And I have an 8-speed gearbox compared to his paltry 6. Yes, the Prussian aristocrat is trampling all over the lumpen people's car. There we go. Power! Come on! And there we are, in front. The BMW then really is very fast. What's more, because this is the first hot hatchback for 30 years to have rear-wheel drive, you can do this. So far then, the BMW is running rings round the Golf. But I then line them up for a simple straight-line drag race. And there was a problem. A big one.
3, 2, 1.
Good noise. With this in reverse. At this point, I was feeling confident. But as I hit 120 miles an hour, this really is a... Oh, yeah, you see, the Golf won that because this, well, it lost control. That's what happened there. Ooh. After this incident, I switched to the Golf GTI. And I decided immediately it was a lot better in every single way. Not only was it able to travel in a straight line without spinning off, but thanks to its smaller engine, it's a lot more economical than the BMW and a lot cheaper to insure. In fact, because Volkswagen has fitted this with a forward-facing radar system that won't let you have a low-speed crash. This GTI is in an insurance group 5 down from the previous model. It'd be more expensive to insure a pencil sharpener.
So the GTI is cheaper to run and cheaper to buy and much better in a straight line than the BMW. But what if you want to transport a nuclear warhead?
Well, what we've got here in the boot of the Volkswagen is a warhead. And as you can see, it fits perfectly. But will it fit in the boot of the BMW? Oh dear. Oh dearie me. See, this is the problem really with rear-wheel drive. It does rob space. So you'd have to drive along like that. And somebody is going to notice. Hans Blick is for sure.
Things are much the same when it comes to space in the cabin. The Golf can handle 3 people on the back seat easily.
But the only way you're going to get 3 people in the back of a BMW is by sawing their legs off with a hammer. Now, this is not only complicated and messy, but in Britain at least, it's currently against the law. Come on! The bone! Oh. One, it's probably easier to buy the Golf, really.
So the Golf is cheaper to buy and cheaper to run and also more practical than the BMW.
It's like driving around in James May's sock drawer. Everything is exactly where you'd expect it to be. All organised. Blue ones, brown ones, pink ones for special occasions.
Don't think, however, because it's sensible and practical and economical, that it's in any way boring.
Look, the gear lever's a sort of golf ball shape. You see, you Englishes, you have the Monty Python and the Harry and the Paul, but we have a sense of humour also with this. Yeah?
There's more as well, because this particular car is fitted with Volkswagen's optional performance pack. That means better brakes, more power, a top speed of 155 miles an hour, and a trick front differential.
Now, we've seen clever front differentials before, but nothing like this. My foot is hard down now, coming round hammerhead. And there's no torque steer, there's no understeer. You can feel the whole car being dragged in, pulled towards the apex. I've never felt anything like it. A boom could get this around here as fast as the stick.
So, there we are. These 2 cars are not the same at all. One is brilliant in every way, and the other tried to kill me.
Very interesting.
Playing with the car to have there.
Oh, yeah. Really fascinating. Just some questions raised. Let's get this straight. You don't like the BMW because you can't drive in a straight line.
Look who's talking!
How fast did you say you were going?
120 miles an
So
hour.
walking pace, basically.
Listen, from the point where it suddenly snapped sideways for no reason to the point where it stopped moving, we measured it, it was over a quarter of a mile.
No, I could have held it, I reckon. Easy.
Could you?
Look, you just aquaplaned.
Yes, but the Golf was on the same track in the same conditions and it didn't aquaplane.
No, the Golf didn't aquaplane because you weren't driving it.
Yes, but, Hammond, all things considered, the Golf is a better car.
Is it?
It is, honestly. The diff in it is remarkable. Because you know when you go around a corner in a car, you go like that, yeah? And it wants to push out. Well, in this, the faster you go, it comes in. It's like Volkswagen has worked out a way to reverse centrifugal force.
So Volkswagen have broken science.
Yes.
With a diff.
Yes. And now we must find out how fast these cars go round our track. And that, of course, means handing them over to our tame racing driver. Some say that his hair is the exact same shape as a hat. And that if he worked for CNN, he wouldn't get such pitifully low ratings and his show got cancelled. All we know is it's got a stick. And they're off. And for the first time this series, it's actually dry. Right, first straight, will the BMW suddenly spin off for no reason? No, it's actually made it to the first corner. Amazing. Both turbocharged engines loving this crisp, dry air and no fuss so far. No idea what that was. Right, through Chicago, Golf's traction control can't be completely switched off. You can actually see it nipping at the brakes on the way in. BMW, of course, just being stupid. Hammerheads, no real dramas there either, but the Golf, yes, it's magic differential, casually twisting physics. Right, follow through, and yep, BMW's trying to spin, of course. The Golf has a nibble of traction control, then faithful as a Labrador. Oh, the Golf brake light's flickering there. That's the traction control turning him on, not Stig, who's still fuming because I said a baboon could drive as fast in the Golf as him. Right, just camp on left, more hooliganism from the Beamer, and across the line. I have the times here.
Come on, then.
The BMW went round in 1:25.1. So it's slower than the old version, which did it on a damp track. So that's useless. And the Golf GTI did a 1:28.6. Look at that.
Oh, that's a lot slower.
Yes. But look, Astra, Megane RS, the Focus, it's right where a hot hatchback should be. This is just stupid. This is much better. And now we must do the news.
Oh, yes, we must, which is difficult because that means walking over there, which is a straight line, you could spin off and lose it again.
Thank you.
Don't slip, careful.
Speed on.
Here he comes, ladies and gentlemen. Will he make it? Conditions are very dry in the studio today. Oh, no, he's only got the steps to go.
Nice work.
Yes, he's done it.
Yeah. I thought you were going off.
Well, listen.
Tricky straight, that.
It was easy because my shoes were not made by BMW.
Brilliant. Good.
Don't
Now-
do the news now.
Yes,
you two.
yes,
do
the
that.
news, ladies and gentlemen. Now, last week you saw Richard Hammond driving a six-wheeled Mercedes-Benz. But did you know they made another six-wheeled car long before that one? Would you like to see a picture of it?
Love to.
Here it is.
All right.
Did they not mention this then?
Do you know they didn't?
How odd.
It is, isn't it? Because Mercedes like to go on about their heritage and history, and they didn't mention that one.
Well, perhaps they didn't mention it because it's got Hitler in it.
I don't know.
That's not Hitler.
It is.
It isn't. No, that car was built long before indicators were invented, so he's just there to do some hand signals.
What signals are you doing there then, James?
He's saying, take the Third Reich. Ow! By the ticket.
Now, have we got any Scottish people here?
Yes.
Would you like to just step outside just for the next few minutes?
Please.
Got a bit of a chat. It's about Scottish independence. It's just that we've heard a lot of talk in recent weeks about what Scotland would lose if you choose to go on your own, but nobody's talking about what England would lose, and it is actually quite a lot because we'd lose North Sea oil, the sub-base at Fastlane, all tramps.
Oh, God.
And we'd also lose a significant chunk of our motoring heritage. And I'm not talking now about the Hillmans and Talbots that were made at the Linwood plant just outside Paisley. No, I'm talking about stuff like the mighty Argyll, Scotland's finest. Wow. Look at that masterpiece.
Do you know, when that car came out, it was the same price as a Ferrari 308, and hardly anybody bought one.
It is remarkable because you look at that plastic body, and when you just look at the way the door fits, that is a quality product.
Isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
What engine did it have?
Well, now it's interesting. Engine-wise, you could have either an engine from a Lancia, a Peugeot, a Renault. You could have a Buick V6.
Basically, it was whatever turned up in the scrapyard that week.
Basically, yeah. Put it in there.
Well, actually, you could also have it with the option of a turbocharged Rover V8. And guess how many of those they sold?
Was it none?
Yes, it was nuts, was it?
Absolutely none at all. And I have to say, it wasn't just supercars where Scotland was ahead of the game. They were ahead of the curve also with electric cars, because way back in the day, they made a little car called the Scamp. Got a picture of it here.
Great Scott! That still has the power to take your breath away even today.
It doesn't it, just? It's a rather tragic story, though. It was made of aluminium and wood, and it was going to be sold through electricity board showrooms, which I remember, actually. But when they took it to the government test centre to get a roadworthiness certificate before they could put it on sale, there was a bit of a problem. In one test, the government engineer noted, and I've written all the problems here down, the speedo broke, the electric motor stopped working, the back door flew open, the spare wheel fell out, the steering went wrong, and then the suspension snapped. And that was the end of that.
Oh, and yet it looked so full of promise, didn't it, there?
Now, I drove my Mercedes down to the track this morning, and genuinely the most extraordinary thing happened. It didn't catch fire. Now, James, you came down in your Fiat Panda, did you not?
Yes.
Did that catch fire?
Let me just think. No.
Did it not?
No, it did not.
Richard, the hire car you came down in.
Yes.
Did that burst into
No,
flames?
it didn't.
Did it not?
No.
Why are you in a hire car?
Because Porsche have told me I'm not allowed to drive my brand new GT3 and they've taken it off me.
Oh, is this because, as we mentioned briefly last week, Porsche GT3s have been bursting into flames, and now Porsche have told you can't drive it
Yes,
anymore?
it is, and you both know full well that it is.
Well, that means you have no use of those oven gloves, which I can see down there, which I bought you last
Yeah, my
week.
Porsche driving gloves.
Have they taken it away?
Yes, they've taken it off me.
So you don't need those. But it's OK, Hammond, because I have got you another present.
Oh, good, have you?
No, Hammond, it's a 911 tailored specifically for you.
Is it?
Yes, here it is. Look at
Oh, you are literally
It's to
the
remind
most
you.
amusing man in the whole world. He is.
Even I'm...
Oh, no! Look! Oh, God, no!
I've got an oven glove.
Put it out as fast as possible.
It's all right. I hate you.
Right, now, yes, as we know, a great many people in the country are now starting to use one of these to move about. Now, this is called a bicycle. And you can tell just by looking at it that it is very dangerous. And as a result, a lot of people are being hurt in cycle-related injuries.
Now, in the olden days, the government would have addressed this problem by making a public information film. They used to make them about all sorts of things. We had to clunk-click every trip, not to go near a railway, not to play near the water.
Yeah, there was don't run.
Yes.
They never told us not to run.
They did.
They did not.
They did, and I shall show you. We've got a clip here. Look, watch.
You never know what's round the corner. So don't run.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's advice I've heeded all my life.
Oh, you really took that to heart. Then you haven't run since, have you?
Of course not. There
Oh.
might be a pane of glass coming.
Anyway, look, we don't really get these public information films anymore because of budget cuts and so on. So Jeremy and I thought that to help stop cyclists being injured, it might be a good idea to bring them back.
So you two are going to make a public information film about cycling?
Yes, we are, actually. We went to see a panel of experts at London's Westminster Council, and they said they'd be delighted if we made a public information film, which would help cut the number of injuries. And this is what I came up with. Here we go.
John works hard, which means that he can afford to drive a car. That means he gets home to his family safely every night. Work harder. Get a car.
Thank you very much. I think a work of genius, frankly.
That is terrible.
It isn't.
It isn't.
No, it is. Which is why I fired him and went and had a go at making a public information film on my own. Having come up with a cracking idea, I appointed myself as director, gathered together a small cast and crew, and set to work. The whole point of this is to be with you on the swing and try and look doctorish. That pen isn't very medical, I'm afraid. Action! I love it. Golden. Yeah. First positions, let's go again. If you could be opposite each other on this three-pronged arrangement, arms out, singing in the rain. Good. And action. Good swinging. Nice. I'm liking this. When my film was finished, Jeremy and I went to Westminster Council to show it to the panel of experts. There was Chris Boardman, Policy Advisor for British Cycling, Martin Lowe, City Transport Commissioner, and Alan Kennedy, Road Safety GB.
The good news is we have two films for you to look at.
No, we have one.
No, two. There's two. Why don't you show them yours, first of all, which I believe is that one there.
Gentlemen, if you'd like to relax whilst I just insert this in the machine.
You stopped playing with children's toys when you grew up. So why ride a bicycle?
Oh, I did a skid!
At your age, get a car.
You just haven't got it, have
What's
you?
that?
Absolutely crazy.
Well, no, I can see you're disappointed just in the way you're looking, James. They're disappointed with your work. May I just play you this one, if I may? Just let me show you this one, because I think this will rectify the problem which has begun already.
works hard, which means that he can afford to drive a car. Work harder, get a car.
Terrible.
Sorry.
Absolutely
Sorry, that's
terrible.
just
You've just got it wrong. So
dreadfully wrong.
Where's the cyclist?
Well,
Yeah.
mangled at the end.
What was the brief?
Well, we're trying to make cycling safer, and we thought the best way to do that is to stop people cycling.
But the message you should be getting across is that people need to be considerate towards each other.
I'm not sure they're going to like our poster idea that we had as well, but we came up with that. We did spell it wrong.
I think we're going in entirely the wrong direction.
Entirely the wrong direction.
Have you actually spoken to a cyclist?
Well, no.
Well, maybe that would be a good idea. Or even try it yourself.
And so we put on some cycling clothes and went on a fact-finding trip around London's glittering West End. Come on, Jeremy!
And behind you! Sound my bell for pedestrians.
Look at him, he's wearing normal clothing, the lunatic.
You'll be killed! You'll never make it!
Whoa! I nearly hit that bloke in the face. Our mission was to identify the dangers that cyclists face on the city streets. And soon, we spotted one.
James, we've got to go right.
Right.
There's a lot of peril involved in that. Right, wait, be careful, James. There's great peril.
So, we came up with a solution.
What if we only went left?
It's not a bad idea, actually. You can still get where you want to go by going left.
To go left here, yes?
Yeah. There's another little left here we can do.
Excellent.
Oh, I feel perfectly safe.
I've been completely safe. No right turns. That's the main thing with cycling.
I reckon it improves your chances of survival by about 85%.
Definitely. Oh, hang on, no, I'm not sure that's worked. I've seen Charles Saatchi having lunch 5 times already.
After an hour in the saddle, I discovered another problem for cyclists.
Oh, bump. Really bumpy here. This is deeply uncomfortable now. Oh! Ooh! Ow! I've got to do something about my bottom. This is really uncomfortable.
So we stopped at a bicycle shop where apparently you can buy special creams.
Are these all to rub onto your bits?
Yes.
Yes, they are. Is that
Semi-cream.
normal? Yeah, they even have one for women.
Are women's bottoms different to men's bottoms?
I think so.
Are they?
Yeah.
Having selected the correct cream, I went to apply it in the changing room. This made everything worse.
Oh! Have you ever put toothpaste on your testicles for a joke?
Well, to be really honest, yes, I did when I was a teenager.
Yes, exactly. So did I. Do you remember the pain?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, well,
Is that what it's like?
yes.
James was very sympathetic.
Goodness gracious, great balls of fun.
With the pain getting worse,
Ooh! Ow, ow!
I had to make an emergency stop.
Please may I use your lavatories? My scrotum is on fire. Have you ever put toothpaste on your scrotum?
With my gentleman's area sorted, we got back on the road.
Right, so the light just went red, so that means go when you're on a bicycle.
And soon we were picking up valuable information.
Taxi driver, very polite. Thank you very much, sir. Another taxi, extremely polite.
Thank you.
Yeah, look at that. You see, he politely let me go.
Thank you.
I've been riding now for 3 hours, and not a single car driver has done anything annoying. You'd imagine that cycling around Hyde Park Corner, which is what I'm doing now, would be as dangerous as juggling chainsaws. But if you keep your eyes open and you're courteous, it's fine. Every car's given me 6-foot berth, taxis, vans.
Yeah, all the cars and vans have been very decent.
And I'm not seeing...
complaints.
But there was one type of road user who wasn't courteous at all.
Look at this idiot. Oh, God, a bus! So that bus just overtook me, so I have to now go on the wrong side of the road, and you get that, and now he's just set off. See? And I'm stuck on the wrong side of the road. These are the problem, I've decided. The buses. Because all of the drivers think they are literally Lord God Almighty.
Bloody murder.
Howdy giving me a wide berth.
Oh, shit.
The bus is going to kill me! You're going to kill me!
Keep going.
Jimmy's a homicidal maniac! And another one!
No, don't do that.
Why do they put bicycles in the bus lane? Whoa!
And then, just to round things off...
Whoa!
Oh! No, 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 no,
Wait,
no, no!
what are you doing?
Look, the chain's come off. Sorry. I know, there's nothing much I can do, is there?
Go over here.
Why can't they build a machine where the chain stays on?
You've got that derailleur miles out of adjustment, though.
I don't know what you're talking about. What is a derailleur?
It's the thing that moves the chain across. You've bent it.
So the gearbox on this is broken. Well, we'll have to sell it and buy another one.
After James had mended my geranium, he gave me a stern lecture.
Bicycle makes it. The reason people have accidents on bicycles is because of things like the brakes not working, worn out, wheel bearings bad, those out of adjustment, that out of adjustment, this not tight. You know, it's really easy, bicycle makers. You only need about 3 spanners and a screwdriver.
With the fact-finding mission over, we felt we'd become fully paid-up members of the cycling community.
Have you got the answer pages? It seems to me, for our public information film, what we should do is make cycling attractive to bus passengers, because then there'd be no need for buses, and they're the biggest problem on the road. Not just for cyclists, but also for
Cars, yeah.
cars as well. So if we get rid of buses, remove the demand for buses,
We get an extra lane.
everybody wins.
A few days later, we cycled to the Top Gear office to discuss some new ideas for our important public information film.
But I think what that does is it dissuades people from using the bus.
Yeah, but it isn't true.
It is.
It isn't.
It is. I went on a bus once and I got an eye infection. You know, some people get diphtheria or rickets or scurvy.
It's nonsense. It's not going to work. I then showed Jeremy something I'd put together.
Hello cyclists, I'm here today to talk to you about bicycle maintenance. Let's start with the most important part of a bike. You simply rotate this adjuster until the brake blocks are almost in contact with the wheel, lock it with the nut, and then less movement means that the chain and the sprockets will grind together. Make sure there is no play in the steering head bearings. If there is, if you can feel a little clunk, clunk, clunk.
How much more is there of this?
Well, quite a lot, but, you know, there's
How long is this?
58 minutes.
What, a 58-minute thing?
Well, it's more of a public information documentary, if I'm honest.
Annoyingly, James's other ideas were even worse.
Action!
Why is he dressed up as Hitler?
Because cyclists need to be visible.
Christ on a bike. James, you can't do that.
Yes, I can.
As he brought out a cross, I left him alone and went off to work on my own.
One of the problems I discovered on my fact-finding bike ride round London is that pedestrians simply don't hear bicycles coming. They step off the curb, the cyclist has to swerve into the path of a bus, blood, artery, gush, burst, court case, murder, disaster. Bicycles, therefore, need to be louder. What I've done is attached to the back of this bike a jet engine. And now pedestrians can definitely hear me coming. And so can other motorists and people in subterranean caves in other countries. Even the profoundly deaf would know I was on my way. They'd feel a disturbance in the force. Of course, another advantage is you don't have to do any of that annoying pedalling. Again, my genius is staggering me. It really is. Oh dear, I'm out of fuel. I've run out of fuel. That's what's happened now. Damn. Think of it really as a hybrid. There we go.
For the rest of the day, we tried all sorts of other ideas.
Here we go.
Well, what's it supposed to be?
It's a cyclist after an accident. I couldn't use an actual cyclist, could I? So, for example, the double mini roundabout, OK? So you come round here, then it's your right of way going up here, but...
Action!
After a great deal of extremely hard work, we ended up with a couple of films that we could take to our panel of experts.
Before we show them to me, let me just say, do you remember the early public information films from...
Yeah.
And they always picked on some very specific details. So it was don't put a rug on a polished floor or don't fish under power lines. They were very tight. And so we've tried to focus on very specific details of cycling that we experience. We hope that... this one first?
Yes, I think that's...
OK.
Cut the green wire. For God's sake, do not cut the red wire. It is imperative to cut the green wire.
Cyclists, red and green. Learn the bloody difference.
Well, yeah, I mean...
I'm not sure we're really getting anywhere here.
What are you trying to achieve with that?
Cyclists jump red lights. We know this. Everybody's seen that happen.
It's what annoys people most about bicycles.
This is making the roads a happier place, because cyclists wait like they're supposed to, car drivers aren't infuriated, and cyclists don't get knocked off or indeed blown up.
You didn't listen to what we said, did you?
You said we had to make the roads a more harmonious place.
Exploding the
Are you really
cyclist
trying to
doesn't
wa-
really get that message across.
You're really trying to
does
waste
it?
our time today because, you know, that is way off.
What, you want them to jump red lights?
No, we don't want them to jump. I'm talking about
Everyone's
that,
about
that
having
commercial. It's absolutely wrong. OK?
Well, let's try... Yes.
Yes, please.
This may be more to your taste then, I think.
I have a dream that all men are created equal. Dr. Martin Luther King was shot and killed on the balcony of his motel in Memphis.
Imagine there's no heaven.
The former Beatle, John Lennon, has been shot and killed in New York.
It's easy if you try.
The righteousness of Jesus Christ. Jesus died on the cross for our sins.
So this is a no, isn't it? And with that, it was back to the studio.
So you two completely cocked it up.
Do you know, I don't know what was wrong with my jet bike.
Well, it was a motor on a bicycle, and therefore it was a motorcycle.
It wasn't a motorcycle, it was superb.
How fast did it go?
At one point, I was clocked at 73 miles an hour.
Yeah, that does sound like the top speed of a motorbike. He's right, you know.
He isn't right, he isn't. And anyway, listen, eventually we did come up with a film which we think will keep that panel of experts happy. Because, in essence, it makes everybody happy and gooey with everybody else. Here we go, let's have a watch.
Cyclists get wet, cold and tired. They turn up for work with revolting armpits. Their clothes are hideous, and to prevent boils and sores, they have to put gel on their buttocks. However, because 750,000 people are prepared to go through this misery every day, there are fewer traffic jams. The roads are quieter, which is good news for normal people. Cyclists, give them an inch because they've given you a mile.
No, an inch. They need 6 feet.
No, Hannah, it's a figure of speech, you idiot. I couldn't say, you know, give them 1.85 metres. That's just ridiculous.
The fact is, we have solved cycling. If people weren't watching Call the Midwife on the other side tonight, there would be no more cycling-related accidents.
So you're saying watching Call the Midwife is now socially irresponsible?
Yes.
Yes, it is, and it's morally wrong.
Exactly. Anyway, now it is time to put a start in our reasonably priced car. And we're going to do something incredible. Because for the next few minutes, we're going to stop your teenage daughter from texting. And that's because my guest tonight played Jesse Pinkman in Breaking Bad. Stopped already. Ladies and gentlemen, Aaron Paul! Who's here? How are you?
What's up, buddy?
How are you?
I'm good, I'm good. How you doing? Hi. I love them.
Yeah, this is a big noise. Have a seat.
All right.
Have a seat. It is strange to have on a guest from a show that was never on British TV.
Yeah.
Who's now in a film that isn't even out yet.
Yeah.
Everybody's screaming and yelling.
I love you all. I love you all. Yeah.
Let's do the film, if we may. It's Need for Speed, I guess.
Need for Speed, yeah. It's the story of Toby Marshall, guy I play.
He spends a couple years in prison for something that he did not do. So the moment he gets out of prison, it's just he's trying to right a wrong. Vengeance is on his mind. So he has to try and get from the East Coast to the West Coast in less than 48 hours in a car, a very fast car. And
What sort of car?
it's a Shelby Mustang.
Shelby Mustang?
Yeah.
Well, it can be quite fast, nice straight lines. Yeah, you should be able to do that. So it sounds like he's got Top Gear written all over it.
Yeah. He wanted to do a throwback or director to films that really kind of started this genre, like Bullet and Vanishing Point and Smokey and the Bandit. And back then, you know, they couldn't rely on CG. They couldn't rely on green screen. And so everything that you see in this movie actually happened. There's no
CG on it?
No CG whatsoever, yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Well, let's have a look at a clip and you'll see why I'm looking incredulous. Here we go.
They took everything from me. All those who defied me shall be ashamed and disgraced. Those who wage war against me shall perish. I will find strength, find guidance, and I will triumph.
It gets pretty violent.
So a Koenigsegg really did do a role?
They actually did those, yeah.
I presume these are body shells, they're not actual...
No.
$million-dollar cars.
Yeah, we don't want to... I mean, we consider those cars kind of, you know, a piece of art and so... But the kit cars that they built were about $300,000 a piece, and they just destroyed them.
That is unbelievable, but forgive me, I've got to get on to Breaking Bad.
Yes.
Thank you. I know there's quite a few puzzle faces going, what is Breaking Bad? What is Breaking Bad? OK, this is Jesse Pinkman. As far as I'm concerned, I'm now talking to the world's greatest crystal meth salesman.
Yes, I am.
For those of you who don't know, it was about a chemistry teacher who meets a delinquent, an ex-pupil, and he's got this guy's been diagnosed with cancer, and then he thinks, to pay for my treatment, I'll start making crystal meth, because I'm a chemistry teacher. And the series runs from there. Do you know, honestly, we don't really have crystal meth in this country.
That's great.
What is crystal meth? Do you know what it is?
No, not really. No. I've been making it for the past 6 years, and I have no idea what it is. No, it's just a terrible, awful drug. It just grabs a hold of some people and just doesn't let go.
Do you know what I loved about the show? It's the detailing in it. And the cars you all drove.
Yeah, they're incredible.
Who chose those?
That was all Vince Gilligan. He's the creator of the show. I mean, his attention to detail is just incredible. I mean, there's this famous conversation he had for 2 hours about the certain color of red nail polish that was going to go on Skylar's toenails.
Well, he was going to get the cars right, because Walter, who is the chemistry teacher, has a Pontiac Aztek now.
Yes.
Never been sold here, but it was probably the worst car.
It's just such a sad car.
Look at it.
Look at that. It's just so sad.
It's a sign that your life has gone terribly, terribly wrong. It was interesting with you because you started out with a Chevy Monte Carlo, wasn't it?
Yes.
When you were a delinquent, but as you became more and more successful, switched to the Toyota Tercel. Now look at that.
I actually wanted that car so bad when we wrapped.
Were you able to keep it?
No, they didn't allow me to take it.
Why not? It's worth $32. No, that's shocking, but it is that attention to detail which I absolutely adored. I really did. Now, more questions about Breaking Bad, which is fascinating, about American television, because we know that US networks, they're brutal. I mean, 1 minute, you know, you've got a chat show.
What are you talking about?
Did you know Piers Morgan?
Oh, yeah. I had a feeling you were talking about.
But where I was going, really, is you've got these US networks. Presumably, Breaking Bad was only ever going to be one series. I mean, they would only commission one, wouldn't they, to see how it works?
Yeah. Every network passed on Breaking Bad initially. HBO, Showtime, I mean, everyone. And then AMC decided to give it a shot, yeah.
With one series?
With one pilot. And then they had to see how that was, how it turned out. I mean, we're lucky that we even stayed on the air because our ratings weren't that great, but the critics loved us, so, yeah.
No, it was very clever. Absolutely brilliant.
Thank you.
Now, your car's in real life, not a Toyota Tercel. You started out, though, with a Toyota, I believe.
I did. I started out with an 82 Toyota Corolla. Yeah, it was beautiful.
Was it?
Faded gold. Anytime it rained, the trunk would fill up with water, stick shift, but I love that car. Then I bought a Toyota 4Runner.
It's getting worse.
And then I bought an old classic car.
OK, which is?
65 Shelby Cobra.
Really?
Oh.
You could have... No, you see the Shelby Cobra.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
Yeah. That's you in it.
That's my car, yeah. I only take it, you know, it's like my weekend car. I take it along the coast. But if you're driving in a parking lot, it just sets off the alarms.
Oh, I love doing that.
It's great. It's fantastic.
They're absolutely fabulous. So there my daughter's going to be mental now because that's her favourite car and it's her favourite actor driving it.
I love your daughter.
Yeah. No, you don't. Right, now, obviously you came down here. This is ballsy, I've got to say, because you have done Need for Speed and you've come down here today to do your lap, which is quite brave.
Yeah, let's see how I did. I mean, I don't know. It was fun.
Shall we have a look at the lap?
Oh, God.
Here we go. Wow, that's a brutal start.
All right, I just don't want to get last. Setting high goals for myself, not to get last.
No, it's OK, because for the first time ever this year, the weather is good. That thing does grip well. There we go.
Yeah. Okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
It isn't bad. Come on.
Tongue out. Ooh, well, yep, that's a very good line round there.
Thank you.
Very nice.
The dreaded hammer head. I hate this turn. Okay. Okay.
That is heavy braking you were giving it there.
Yeah, you know.
Oh, that is very, very neat and tidy.
Come on, you... bitch.
We knew it! No way were you going to get round a lap without saying that. Ooh, the comfortable line, missing the apex. Second to last corner, this catches... Oh, that was absolutely bob on. Now, Gambon, again, kissing everything perfectly and across the line. Well, now. These are the wet tyres. You're not going to be last because, you know, Chatwhite, bless him, he'd never driven before. So you're not going to be lower than him.
Okay, good.
So where do you think you came?
I have no idea. I want to be above James Blunt.
James Blunt was 149.4. That is FW, stands for flipping wet. So you're definitely going to be above him. So come on, be reasonable.
I mean, I would like to be, you know, towards the top, but I just...
Oh, but that's the 145 region.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's...
Well, do you know, I was just about to say, well, Jesse Pinkman, but I won't. Aaron Paul, 140. 4. Fastest man ever to take the Astra around the track. Ladies and gentlemen, Aaron Paul!
Now, that's going to take some beating. This is the £650,000 Porsche 918. It is insanely fast. It's rammed full of technology, and most importantly, it is a hybrid. In many ways, then, exactly the same as the McLaren P1 that Jeremy fell in love with a few weeks back. The big question, though, is it any good?
No.
When Jeremy tested the P1, he took it to the Spa racetrack in Belgium. My F1 track may not have that pedigree, but at this place, at least the fun doesn't stop when the sun goes down. The Abu Dhabi circuit is also famed for having a 1.2-kilometre straight, one of the longest anywhere. Seems like a good place to start. Let's make some noise.
Oh, that is breathtaking! Oh, 9,000 RPM! Boom! Big speed! 280! Braking! Oh, that
That is acceleration unlike anything else. I know Jeremy's head was blown off by the speed of that P1, but I absolutely cannot believe it felt any faster than this. It can't have done.
Like the McLaren, the 918 has a joint strike force of petrol engine and electric motors working together.
It's that electric power that gives it so much punch off the line. I have 500 foot-pound of torque at 800 RPM. 800! The 458 doesn't have 500 torques at any RPM. It just wakes up, it's like a sprinter, falling out of bed and going straight into a world record, while all the others are still eating cornflakes and thinking about having a poo.
The petrol engine, which sounds ungodly through those top-mounted exhausts, is a 612 horsepower, 4.6-litre V8.
On the topic of power and performance, the 918 and the P1 can trade punches all day long. The 918 can't match the P1's top speed, 218 compared to 211.
But I get to 60 quicker. 2.6 seconds to his sluggish 2.8.
I've got 875 brake horsepower, the P1 has 903, but I've got more torque. And on and on and on it goes. It's King Kong versus Godzilla.
There are some areas, though, where the 918 definitely has the P1 on the ropes. It can retrieve energy generated by braking and feed it back into the batteries. The roof lifts out, so you can enjoy some open-top cruising. And inside, you get some actual creature comforts, like electric seats and an 11-speaker sound system. You don't get either of those on a P1.
I'm not one to gloat, but hello, glove box, yeah, and then this centre console from where I can control the top screen, that does many things up there. And then over 800 functions can be controlled from the touch-sensitive screen down here. Maybe I can go online and order Jeremy a set of spanners to adjust the seat on his P1. Look up old-fashioned for me.
In addition to the wealth of onboard amusements, the 918 also has many driving modes.
Right now, I'm in fully electric mode. And I can whisper around like this for 18 miles, compared to the P1's 7. But if I go down here, I can select hybrid. And that allows it to alternate between petrol and electric in the most efficient way. Or we've got sport mode, where we have petrol power all the time. But, you know, I'm here on this racetrack, so let's go one further. Put it in race mode.
Now the petrol engine is top dog, and the electric motors are acting as its wingman.
It's time to attack some corners. Bells, bells! That grip! This thing corners and I'm going flat. Totally flat. And there's no that bottom-clenching terror Jeremy talked about in the P1.
Partly that's because where the P1 is rear drive only, the 918 has four-wheel drive and four-wheel steering.
I think in essence, yes, the P1 is more proper fighter pilot, seat-of-the-pants stuff. This is altogether more civilised, but that does not mean it's boring, because it just isn't. The back end breaks away like a rear-wheel drive car. What a thing!
But even though the 918 is more grown up than the P1, it can still boast some pretty exciting achievements.
The fact is, this car has lapped the Nürburgring in 6 minutes, 57 seconds. That's faster than any other road-legal production car. To put it into context, a hardcore Lexus LFA did it in 7 minutes, 14 seconds. The mighty Nissan GT-R was almost half a minute slower. As for the P1, well, McLaren are saying it has gone round in under 7 minutes. but they're not saying an actual time. I don't know, maybe they lost the piece of paper it was written on, or something.
With daylight coming, I locked up, left the keys to the circuit under the mat, and went in search of breakfast. Full of awe for this incredible machine.
Here I am with 875 bhp, a 4.6-litre V8 that sounds like that. And yet the CO2 emissions are lower than a Toyota Prius, and certainly much lower than a P1. I don't know, this is just all round a more impressive achievement. It's more of its time. To put it another way, McLaren have used hybrid technology to liven up a supercar today. Porsche have used hybrid technology to save the supercar for tomorrow. This is an important car.
Oh yeah, here it is. I'm amazed you didn't catch fire.
Never mind that. Now listen, Hammond, in that film, you said there's none of the bottom-clenching terror when you're driving this that you get in a McLaren P1. How do you know? You haven't driven a McLaren P1.
I know that because after you had driven the McLaren P1, you said it was a day of bottom-clenching terror.
I did a bit, but I was driving in the pouring rain at Spa. You were at Abu Dhabi, bone dry and with 8-mile runoffs on all the corners.
Look, fact is the 918 can handle its power better.
Its dribble of power. It's barely got enough to get out of its own way.
And how do you know that? Because you haven't driven the Porsche.
Because Porsche won't let me.
Yes, because they know, Jennifer, you can't drive in a straight line. We've seen it.
At least I didn't write a book about it.
Look,
I tried to milk the moment.
Enough. Let me interrupt with the solution to all this, because later on in the year, hopefully, we're going to make a special Top Gear programme, one in which Richard and Jennifer bring the Porsche 918 and the McLaren P1 down to our track, and we will see which is the fastest.
Should be quite good, actually, that. Hopefully we'll be able to put it together June, July, sometime around there. And it'll basically be England versus Germany. But before then, in fact, starting next weekend, we have our all-new 2-part Top Gear Christmas special.
Yeah, it is a bit late, we're sorry.
Bit late, yeah.
It's an Easter special.
It's Easter special. Whatever. The three of us are told to build a bridge over the River Kwai. But first, we have to get there. And that means driving all the way across Burma in lorries that we bought from the internet, unseen, for a few £100. And on that Burma shell, time to end. Thank you so much for watching. Good night.
There's drama in the den, a cuddly travel companion that all the dragons are fighting over next. And over on BBC One now, Aramis goes out of his way to protect a young mother and her baby son. Original British drama, The Musketeers.